Going live. This Hangout on Air is live. Oh dear, I'm just showing Oliver. There we go. There's me. This Hangout on Air is live. Hey VJuggers, good to see you again. And with me, joining me today, as per usual, we have Oliver White. Hey Oliver, how you doing?
Hey guys, good to see you. It's getting cold out here.
Yeah, Oliver's still in Prague.
Yeah.
Still trying to hold on to the summer. And also we have Adam Bean. Adam, how you doing?
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. So it seems like we are a European broadcast right now, right?
Absolutely. We've got London. Are you in Munich at the moment,
yes.
Adam? So London, Munich, and Prague. That's awesome. So just to introduce Adam, Adam Bean. If you haven't seen Adam on the conference tours, Adam Bean is an independent speaker, architect, developer, consultant, and also an author. Adam's written a whole bunch of different books. Are we up to 6 or 7 now, Adam?
Yes, 2 English, and the remaining is always in German. So
awesome.
Forget about this.
Awesome. And so you do a whole bunch of work with Java SE, EE, and more recently some of the kind of application style JavaFX.
Yes.
Awesome. And you're a fellow Java champion. And I don't think we've met in person, but from everyone who's met you, I've heard you're an awesome guy to have to chat, have a few drinks with, and everything's good.
Yeah, thank you. You are Java champion as well, right?
Yeah, just recently.
Yeah, perfect.
Pretty much because of this, I think.
Did you receive the T-shirt already?
I've got my T-shirt and my jacket. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. So now you're the champion.
We should perhaps both wear them, eh?
Yes.
Okay, so just a couple of things then before we get started, while everyone's joining. The book draw. Oliver, have you seen we've done a couple of book draws recently?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Do you think these are a good idea?
Well, I mean, do people read books anymore these days? I don't know.
It's a good question.
No, I think it's a great idea, and I think that VJug is an awesome place to do it because no one needs to necessarily be anywhere to get something in the mail that's cool. We're working on drone delivery, is that right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool.
We're getting our own VJug drones, right? So yeah, we've last week we gave away one of Richard Warburton's books, who is giving us a session next week, in fact. And the winner for that, let me just double check and say congratulations. The winner for that, it was Java 8 Lambdas, Pragmatic Functional Programming. And the winner was Francoise Roland in Belgium. And so your book, I believe, was sent yesterday if you're online. So give us a wave if you're online.
All right, Francois, congrats.
Yeah, absolutely. This next 48 raffle, we're giving away another book, and this is from one of the guys who's also going to be giving a session next week, and it is called Java 8 in Action. This is a Manning book, and this is from Raoul. So if you're interested in that, go to the Meetup site, meetup.com/virtualjug, find the event, just RSVP, and we'll make that draw on Friday. Upcoming sessions after this then, I mentioned that we've got Raoul and Richard Warburton doing pragmatic functional refactoring with Java 8. So that's going to be that looks like a really popular one. We already have over 250 people RSVP'd, so make sure you sit at the front in that session so we can fit everyone in. A couple more that we're going to have hopefully in October and September. We have one from Benjamin McCabe, who is one of the guys in Eclipse, and he's going to be giving us an Internet of Things and Java session. We have Ben Cat, the cat, who's going to be giving us reactive Java programming. And we also have a JCP session, which is probably going to be a panel just before Java 1, so that's going to be interesting as well. One other thing, if you want to ask questions in this session with Adam Bean, please connect on IRC. You can go to the virtualjug.com website and automatically connect into IRC there. Ask all your questions, put all your discussion in there, and I will ask those questions directly to Adam. Adam has requested that we ask questions as they come in, so please ask them when they're relevant, and we'll pass them on straight away. Finally, before we get started, we're almost 1 year old now. Our birthday is on October the 9th. And we've just breached 1,800 members, which is really, really great for a jug. And what I want to do is I want to reach 2,000 members by our first year. So for everyone who is a member, please share the group and tweet it, Facebook it. There's a few little social media icons just below the live session card, which you're at, just underneath the video. So please click them and tell your friends to join. And yeah, without further ado, I'll pass over to Adam Bean, who's going to be talking about JavaFX 8. So over to you, Adam.
Hey Simon, if you like, I can send you my book, the Real World Java EE Pattern. So if you need some books, I will send you one. So
that'll be awesome. So if you could put me in contact with the guys, and I'll set that up as a 48-hour raffle next week. That'll be awesome. Thanks very much, Adam.
Yeah, I will send you both books actually. So send me the address, and I will send you the books.
Excellent. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Should we start then?
Yeah, let's go for it.
So okay, opinionated JavaFX. So what's the deal with me? I'm a freelancer. Started 1995 with Java, and 1997 freelancing. So I'm surely never worked properly for a company. Always was a freelancer, and I really like Java. This is an unusual statement these days. So not only JVM, but the Java programming language really enjoyed actually, and Java 8 is getting even better. And I spent most of my time in Java EE side, but I started actually my career with Swing. So there are lots of projects asking, okay, how to migrate to JavaFX, and so this is spent also some of my time in JavaFX land. I'm not the widget expert. I rather interested in more architecture things, and I would like to explain you how I see it, how we can develop applications. So some resources. So I write a blog, Twitter, and somehow interesting. 3 times a year, I just organize airhacks at Munich Airport, and the idea is that I deliver standard workshops 3 times a year, and don't have to travel or to deliver them more than this. I'm not a trainer. I would like to spend as much as my time as only possible, and some resources about my talks. I created a little framework called AfterBurner. So what it means, little, 2 classes. And it is actually what I will explain to you today, so the ideas of the framework. And the recent application which uses the framework is called Floyd. What it does, it discovers Java EE applications running in the background, running a service called Pink. This is the name Floyd, because Pink needs a Floyd, right? And Igniter is the Maven archetype, which will create an MVP application for you. And Lightfish is a monitoring application which also uses Afterburner. So that's actually the idea behind. So this is the first book I will send to Simon, and this is the next book I will send to Simon, and both books will take in the raffle in the queue. So this is the airhacks, and this is the last slide. So what it actually means, I would like to stop the slides and show you some code, and I'm actually not sure whether I will develop a full application, because I only am interested actually in the ideas today. So let's start with a very basic JavaFX application. And so what I will do, just use a prepared NetBeans project called JavaFX application, and I will call that Hello FX. And this is actually not even Maven. It's just basic application with AND. And you can see something unusual. There is the main method, of course, but the application extends application. There are strange methods like start, and what you usually do, you're invoking the launch method. So what it actually means, the application, this is something like a template, right? Because what it actually means, if you invoke launch, the arguments get passed, and somehow the methods start invoked first. So this is actually what you have to do to implement a very basic JavaFX application. So nothing special here. It's very similar to Swing. So if I would start it, I would expect a small window. And yeah, it is just, you see, say hello world, a beautiful application. Yeah. And with JavaFX, of course, you could use lambdas and to simplify this if you like. So but this would be nicer. So so far so good. So now, the architecture would be the same as in Swing. So I could just, create my model view controller, whatever, and and everyone would be happy. So there's actually no questions left. So more interesting is, so there's another kind of applications. JavaFX FXML application becomes more interesting, and I spent a little bit more time thinking about this. Hello FXML. So what happens here? So first, the first difference between both is, if you look at this, there is a stack pane, there is a scene, and there is something like a root. So what is the root? You see, this is the stack pane, and root get children add. So this is actually how you would create here the application. So and this part looks a little bit differently. So the root comes from a strange class called fxml loader and a method called load. And what it does, it loads as a resource fxml document fxml. So let's open this. This is a scene builder, comes with JavaFX for free, basically. And what you can do, you can reposition the button, rename the button, and of course, hopefully, if you restart the application, so I will just clean and build the project, which is necessary. This is it is end, and run it. You see, it looks exactly as I designed this. Click hello world, seems to work. So what it actually means is the fxml loader for me is a factory which creates the parent. So whatever was needed to create the layout in the prior application here, now it is outsourced.
Hey guys, not sure if you can hear me or not. Just rebooted Hangouts. If you can hear me, hopefully I'll try to get Adam back on very, very soon. Just tweeting him now. Let me know in RC if you can hear me or see me. Very funny, Carl. What we need is some kind of champion to save the day. just pinging Adam, trying to get him back online. Sounds like you can hear me again. That's good. Okay, I'm just hoping Adam is not standing in front of the computer still continuing to present to nobody. Thank you, Dennis, very kind. I apologize for this. So I have this horrible feeling that Adam is still presenting at his screen. And I'm just trying to get in contact with him in as many different ways as I can. If anyone has Adam's number, now's the time to give it to him. I should probably have it.
Are we back? There was
Adam.
There was a Hangout dropout, right?
Yes. Are you? Sorry, let me find. Excellent. You are back. Sorry about that, Adam. There something went wrong with the Hangout there. This is the first time this has happened on the Virtual Jug, but we are back. So yeah. I'll give you control again. So straight over to you. Sorry about that.
No problem. Can we just restart it? No, I don't hear anymore.
Sorry, yeah, it started now. You are live.
Perfect. So what happened was the following. The fxml document here is a kind of a configuration to a factory or a builder, and this builder creates the parent root. The problem is, of course, it creates the roots with all the buttons, but how to hook into the button? Because if someone presses the button, it will expect an action listener is getting invoked. So how it actually works, and the idea is in the fxml document here. If you look here at the button, for instance, so there is a in the code section, you are going to see on action handle button action. So if someone clicks the button, the method handle button action is going to be invoked. And there is a label with fxid label. And this has to match with the label in the source code. So in our case, there is, you see fxml label. This has to match with the fxid, and this is the method handle button action. So now the question is, well, my first question was, how big is actually the fxml document? So is it the whole application? Is it one panel, one view, one dialog, or what is it? And what I did immediately, I filed an issue at JavaFX and said, okay, this is somehow strange. Then one fxml document can only have one single controller. So what I would expect, there would be multiple controllers per document. This would be my expectation. And so they answered no. It was the idea and the design is one controller per fxml document. So I was like, okay, if this is the case, what it actually means, we need one fxml file per view, because each view has a controller usually, or presenter, whatever you call it. So I started to think about this and say, okay, then we can do something like we need always a view, a controller, an fxml file, and probably some CSS files as well, because JavaFX comes with CSS capabilities. You can easily see it in here. So if I, for instance, mark the button, and there is view show CSS analyzer, so you can see here all the properties of the button, so the font size, and you can of course override it. So the idea is JavaFX, you can use CSS3 markup to change the look and feel of JavaFX components. So I say, okay, now we have actually 4 elements. So we have the controller, the view, the CSS, and fxml, and why not call them after some conventions, so we don't have to think over and over again how to call the fxml file, the view, and the controller. And if we have the convention, what we could do is we could wire everything together automatically. So and after 1 weekend, the idea was implemented with the project called AfterBurner. And why AfterBurner? Yeah, because it was actually extracted from a sample application. It was called AirHex Control, and I use it to manage the attendees for workshops at the Munich airport. And I just extracted the AfterBurner framework from the application after it worked. So I used the AirHex Control as a proof of concept of the idea, and it worked pretty well. And actually, right now it is very successful. So lots of projects are using AfterBurner to structure the application. So I would just go through the recent project and show you actually how it works and what it actually is. And because AfterBurner is so simple, again, 3 classes, you could just either use AfterBurner or just implement it by yourself. So what's also interesting, this is actually the really nice idea is there's a meta level. So what you could do, you can go to fxml loader and say, if you create objects, ask me. Don't create the objects by yourself by invoking, the default constructor. Ask me for the creation. And so the fxml loader comes with a hook, and this hook is actually used in AfterBurner. And I would like to show you how it is used. And the hook is the controller factory. So what I did in AfterBurner, I'm passing an injector as a controller factory. So and why I'm doing this? Because then I'm creating the controllers indirectly, and then I can implement dependency injection everywhere. So you can use Google Juice, Spring, Dagger, or whatever framework you like for dependency injection. And because dependency injection is actually fun and so simple, I implemented my own injector and implements inject dependency injection with about 200 lines of code and a little bit, with some test support and stuff like this. Usually, the whole magic is about 30 lines of code. So this is actually not a big deal. So again, fxml loader comes with a hook. You can pass your own factory, which will create all objects the fxml loader creates, and then you can of course hook whatever framework you like. And I just wrote my own framework. Why? Because Google Juice would require configuration. Spring I could use auto-wired, but what I really wanted to have is add inject without any configuration, like it is the case in Java 6. So I implemented my own injector, but it could be replaced with whatever you like. Okay, so now I think, any questions so far? So everything should be crystal clear, I hope.
Yeah, so no questions at the moment. There's Carl Jockel was asking if JavaFX was meant to be cross-platform. Sorry. Carl Jockel was asking he would actually like to use JavaFX APIs for cross-platform. Is it feasible to do so? So more of a general question, really.
Okay, I mean it is cross-platform, so it will work on Apple, Linux, Windows. It won't work on Android or Apple devices, iOS, without further hacking, so not out of the box. And so it is cross-platform. It looks on every platform actually the same, and on Mac even there was an application called Ensemble, which was submitted to the App Store to Apple and was actually approved. And on with JavaFX, there's a small tool called JavaFX Packager, where you can create native installers, which will install JavaFX app with JDK on the target platform.
Okay, so I guess Carl's follow-up question was that he would like to use JavaFX APIs for cross-platform UI. He wasn't sure about licensing restrictions, so I guess we don't want to give too much legal advice on here, but that was he was wondering if that would prevent him from creating his own implementation.
No, I think the only deal with Java in general is something like if it is a general hardware, it is okay, I think, right? And if you are using some code of kiosk software or whatever, then you have to ask Oracle. This is something like this.
Mm-hmm.
This is my understanding, but I'm not a lawyer, so no idea about licensing. But this is my general understanding. So yeah, you can absolutely do it, and actually do it in projects on PCs. So we are running on different platforms. Yes.
Okay. One question, Manocha AK is asking, why does the view need more than one controller? Are you hinting towards single-page desktop app?
Oh, this is actually a very good question. This is actually the bug I filed at Oracle, because I say, okay, if we have one file, I would need more controllers, because otherwise, your controller is going to be huge. So I could have one controller, but this would be crazy. And if you go, for instance, to the Floyd application, so the basic idea was there is usually an application is on panel. Like here we have one tab called injector here. This will be on panel, and for each panel there would be a folder, which is a convention. So, and you see it's always the same naming: Cloud Presenter, which is going to be the controller, the Cloud View, and the Cloud FXML. So the basic idea is don't make me think. So just name everything the same, and it will load behind the scenes, and you become really productive. This was the basic idea of me, and projects seem to like it. So this was actually how AfterBurner operates, and I don't need a controller per view, but it's easier to manage. This is the basic idea, actually. Mm-hmm. Okay. Any other questions?
Just one slightly more general. Is there a mechanism in JavaFX which lays out the GUI pixel independent, so that changing the screen size doesn't have any impact?
Somehow. So if we let's see whether I will find something with a basic UI. I think this was the this project here. Yeah. So if we go here into layout, I can set up here I can lock the layout, and then it will behave like the swing layouts, auto layouts. So I can have perfect pixel positioning, and I can have locked layouts. What I think the question is this something like responsive layout, where depending on pixel density, the application would rearrange? No, there isn't such a thing, but you could write your own layout manager for this. I'm not aware of this, so but you can always write your own layout manager for such a thing.
Okay, that's all the questions so far.
Perfect. So now back to Floyd. So what Floyd is doing, it scans the network for running ping services and displays them. And why I need this? Because on my server where my blog is running, we have about 8 different application servers, and what I would like to do is see whether they're actually running. So I'm starting the Floyd, and scans the network and provides me a basic health information. So it starts. Let's go here through through the app. So this is the basic app called. It extends from application, and as you can see here, the main view is the Floyd view. So if we go to the Floyd view, it is again empty. It is most cases empty. Why? Because everything is defined in Floyd XML. So if we open Floyd XML, you see this is just a divider. So it is just 2 panels with, of course, IDs. The first panel is called scan, and the second one active. So scan active. So this is the basic layout of the application, split pane. And so what it actually means, I would expect in the controller that the both anchor panes are injected, which is actually the case. You see scan and active. Now what I can do is I can say the scanner view, so I'm creating the view by myself, which will load the next one. So just go here, scanner. You see the scanner, which will load in turn the view with its fxml file, which is a little bit more complicated. You see host, port from, port to, scan, and progress indicator. So this is actually the basic idea behind. So this would be the upper part of the application, and on the same note, there should be the lower part, which is a cloud view, cloudy. So if I go to the cloud view, this is another folder with the view, and the cloud presenter comes with some more information here. Okay, this is and the pink is a subview. So what it actually means, we have here tabs or whatever, and this pink view belongs to the cloud view. This is the basic idea, and I'm a little bit experimenting right now with, you know, organization of the packages. What is the best way to organize such application? And what I did first is I stored these the service or organize the services in dedicated packages like business model or something, and find out recently is it actually more convenient to keep everything in one place. So in this case, I have a presenter. I have a service, which is in the implementation of business logic, which talks RESTful web services with the backend. I have a view with the layout and the pink XML, and I have no CSS. So what it actually means, I have no custom layout or something. It just comes with out-of-the-box layout. So this is the basic structure of the application. So and if I will launch the application, it will search, but will not find anything because there's no connection to my server. But you see, it is actually the application here with some validation and data binding. So usually I do something like this: port 8000 to 8100, and then the input is validated and it enables the scan button. And what I'm really interested in is, you know, the mix and match between what you see and what you get, editors and code. And what I really hate is generated code. And the good story in JavaFX is you will never be dependent on generated code. The generated code is dependent on your code. This is actually the nice story. And why it's possible? Because inversion of control. So this is the basic idea behind inversion of control. Means the generated buttons are injected to your code, and so you are not requesting them, not creating them. What was always the case, you know, with visual editors prior JavaFX. Okay, any questions? Because it's a little bit more sophisticated, and on this part, there's always get the question, okay, a little bit confusing or whatever. So everything crystal clear so far?
Okay, so at the minute we don't have any questions in other than one slightly general one, but what I'll do is I'll ask that now. It should be a quick yes/no answer, and if people can write their questions in IRC, we've got that slight delay. So the question is from Kuel J, and the question is, does JavaFX support high-res displays, so Mac Retina, for example?
Yes, yes. So I have high-res display right now, and it looks beautiful. And it started with JDK 1.7 something. So I think 45 or something. You get the Retina support on Mac in Java in general. Prior to this, for instance, I used NetBeans. It looked terrible, so it was blurry. But with, I think, 45, you know this, Simon? So JDK 1.7, 45 or something, there was a Retina support, and then it just worked okay. And I'm using, since last Java 1, Java 8, daily builds, and right now the release version and looks just great.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I can't remember which number update it was in, but 45 sounds good to me.
Nice. 42 would be even better, right?
42, yeah, maybe 42 as well. Let's go for that. Okay, no other questions at the moment, so let's continue.
Yeah, oh, perfect. So now, now we have the basic structure of the application, and the question is, if we go here to the presenter, you will see here some more strange stuff. So fxml we covered. So fxml is injected by the fxml loader. But who injects the add inject right now? So we have add inject string URI and ping service. And ping service is just a regular Java class. And this is actually what happens in AfterBurner. So because right now the AfterBurner knows about all controllers, it actually creates all controllers for XML loader. I can just search for add inject annotations, which are JSR 330. There are these Spring and JavaFX annotations, and I can inject whatever I like. And what happens behind the scenes, everything which is injected is going to be a singleton. So the injected parts are actually singleton beans, if you will. There is no scopes, nothing. Everything is singleton, and everything is cached, but can be forgotten during the testing. So you can say forgot all, and you will just forget clean the internal caches, and all the services going to be forgotten or garbage collected. And there's actually two flavors of services. The service usually talks to the backend, and if you can see, it's also implemented post construct. So the service is going to be created, then the method post construct invoked, and then pre-destroy. And a service, exactly like on the application server and CDI or EJBs, so that's actually where I borrow the idea from. And what is also possible, of course, it could be either a service or a model. So what you could do, you can inject your own domain object to your services and store some data in there. So user information, status information, or whatever. And why it's so interesting? Yeah, because it's very easy. It's actually what you did in Swing using singletons. And what they singletons did, they you have to do just invoke get instance. And the problem with this was they were really hard to test because if you test it, you couldn't just easily unload the singleton, which is solved actually by AfterBurner, because there's a method forgot all and of the injector, which is static, and you can just invoke forget all during the test or after the test, and it will forget about all your instances. So, and this is not in injector rather than in fxml view. Where was it? Forget all somewhere. We had it previously. Forget. No forgetting. Forget all, and it forgets all presenters and all model and services are going to be cleared, and they are stored in a map, which is a weak hash map, which is pretty important. So the first versions of AfterBurner had some memo leaks. There were some contributors would find it during continuous integration tests. And now I just switched to weak hash map, and the problem was solved. By the way, the AfterBurner started with 2 classes, now we have 3. So because there's also custom configuration involved. Okay, so 4 parts or 5 even. You could have a service, a model, which basically would be just class different name, but from the AfterBurner point of view, there is no difference between service and model. Both are singletons. From the architecture point of view, I see services more interacting with the backend. In this case, it uses JAX or S2O, and models would be just cache data or domain objects or whatever. So for instance, in the AirHex control, all the attendees were loaded to the model, and I could interact with the model, and they would display it in a table. Okay, so I hope we have a basic understanding of the idea. And what I explained right now is the famous pattern model view presenter coined by Martin Fowler. And what JavaFX actually does is this is called passive view. This is the flavor of this pattern, passive view. and is very similar to in Microsoft world is called MVVM pattern, model view view model pattern. So this is actually what also AfterBurner implements with this very simple setup. And again, I did it without AfterBurner in projects, but because it was so easy to find the conventions, I just introduced a project, which is a GitHub and Apache license project. So right now, everything was ANT or proprietary NetBeans build, and usually I don't like proprietary builds. So what I also created was is a very simple Maven archetype actually, and I would like to create a project from the archetype, and the group ID is AirHacks. And the reason for this is if you would like to create something and store it, I'm not sure, in the Sonar type, the homepage has to exist, and I only have AirHacks and Adam Bean. So this is the reason. Let's see after hello whether the version 1.9 is there. Yes, perfect. So, and what happened right now? It created more reasonable a Maven project, and I would like to show you how to set up the POM of the Maven project to for the applications. And it is actually a simple jar project with JUnit, and you see the dependency to AfterBurner. And there is a clean and package version, which what it does is it unpacks all the dependencies, AfterBurner, and actually just the AfterBurner dependencies, and creates this one jar. What I really don't like in JavaFX and Swing is just to deploying too much jars. So the idea is here, whatever you have, it will unpack for you and just repack for you. So you will end up having one executable jar. And I'm using JavaFX packager, which can be used to create the executable file, so this is optional. And now, more importantly, what I really like is the idea that the fxml files are stored together with the Java files and not separately. Usually in Maven, you would end up having fxml and CSS in source main resources. And what I really appreciate is the idea that that the CSS and fxml files are stored together in the same package. For me, it is a lot easier to maintain. And in order to do so, I had to override the resources section in Maven to say, okay, the directory source main Java contains fxml, CSS, and properties, and please use it. And of course, resources use it as well. And this is the whole Maven setup. So this is the crucial thing if you would like, you know, to do similar architectures. And this is nice to have, you know, that jar is created and all the dependencies are extracted and repackaged. So fairly simple Maven build, about 120 lines of XML. And here I have some CSS files as well. So you can see they are just empty, but they are loaded. So you can, oh, not empty. So I've just set up the padding and font size and the font family. So, and if I start the application, you see the simplest possible application, and Tower says okay from enjoy the flight. So this is actually the basic, very basic output. And if you walk through the, yeah, Simon?
Hey.
Question?
Yeah, just a quick question, which I think, so Minocha thinks it might be slightly off topic, but I think it's pretty relevant. So how do you go about using JavaFX with AfterBurner in an already existing Swing project?
Swing project, yeah, you can mix and match Swing and JavaFX components. Or what I would do is to create one view with JavaFX and surround it with Swing, for instance. Would be my start. I think this is the only possibility to do it. And with the recent Java 8, I think the how it's called event dispatching threads for Swing and JavaFX were unified, so it will work better than before. And this would be the only approach. I had similar problem with the Lightfish. I created everything by hand, creating the whole view by hand, and then I wanted to create new views with AfterBurner. So just the new views were created with AfterBurners, and the old views weren't. So this is the idea. So, but again, the talk is not, you know, advertisement for AfterBurner rather than the ideas behind. And who cares about, you know, the projects? Just free classes. So but I think with the basic idea of convention over configuration and the version of controllers is so powerful that you become really productive with this stuff. This is.
One other question very quickly. Kill J is asking, have you ever had any problems in your projects with the XML handling? And I think this is maybe referring to adding XML which is corrupt. Hendrik Ebbers is suggesting Scene Builder.
Yes. No, I haven't. The reason for this is it is really understandable. So if you open this, even again, I have one fxml per view, so it is never going to be too huge. Of course, if you have one page with 500 buttons, it should be different. But right now, it is really understandable. And to be honest, with IntelliJ, you get even better support with IntelliJ. And even warn you here that, for instance, there is no such ID in code. For instance, so with IntelliJ, you get two-way support for this. I think if I just do something like this and I save it, so now I'll break the application, and Scene Builder will recognize this. So if I reopen Scene Builder, it should recognize. Actually, don't even know where I was. But if I usually it will get a yellow bar like there is no such a thing in code, and with IntelliJ you could immediately an yellow bulb here and say, okay, look, there is nothing here like code. If you would click Alt Enter, it will create the ID for you. So this is I never had the problem, but I always had the problems before with visual builders. Because at one point of time everything blew up, and there was the generated code was no more consistent. And what I also like at this approach is what happens actually here. If you think about Swing, just a JPanel is created. So one JPanel which is added to the main view. So in any point in time you can just skip this and create this stuff by yourself. So this is, for me, it's just one single factory per view, and whether it creates the children for me or I create it by hand doesn't even matter. And this is also the reason why fxml is always empty. But what I could do, I can override the method getView and do everything by myself. So never had this, but I never was in a huge projects with JavaFX. So projects where I was reasonable. But I was in Swing project, because of crazy business departments with really 500 text boxes per view. Didn't make any sense. But I think in such a project, no idea how fxml would behave. But for reasonable UIs, it was never a problem.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Evan. No more questions at the moment.
Oh, perfect. So also very important to me is to mix and match the fxml code with manually crafted code. And what you can always do, you can always go here and say follow me view, new follow me view, and what happens behind the scenes, you get one instance of the view, but you can create as many instances as you like. Okay. So this is actually the first thing which was important to me. And then if you have the view, if you ask app get view, you get actually the parent. So the parent is this something like a JPanel in Swing. And this is also important. And the controller is loaded behind the scenes. So this is just happens because of fxml loader. So this was the basic example, and now you can do the same from the command line. I can go here and say Maven archetype generate minus the filter com airhacks, and it will list all the patterns for me. And what I would like to do, I will show you the recent igniter, and this is the first. This 192. This is the recent one. Property group ID is airhacks. Newest hack. Okay, looks good. So now more crazy stuff. There are no questions, so you are already very familiar with model view present and all the stuff. What I would like to show you, what is possible with Java 8. And so what I just did, I fired up from command line and I used the recent version of the Maven archetype. And what it does is a little bit more sophisticated. So if I just run the application, you will see my design skills, which are great. So now I created 256 views asynchronously. Why this number? Just for fun, doesn't matter. But these are each view is one fxml, one view, and one controller. And I launch the application, so even more. And so now go to code, and I would like to explain you how it actually, what happens behind the scenes. So first, it is exactly the same dashboard view and dashboard app get view. So I go to the dashboard view and I see, oh, there's a presenter. So go there, and I have some, label pane. Tower is the service, and of course I have somewhere a method called launch, and this is the ready to take off method, and also create lights. And the question is, what's this, right? So just go here and create views asynchronously. I go to code, and you see on action, create lights. So if someone pushes the button, create 256 views, and the method create lights is going to be invoked. So this is actually this method. And now something interesting happened. There's a method view get view async, which is void, and this view needs a consumer of parent, which is interesting. So consumer of parent, what is consumer? Is a Java 8 function, functional interface consumer, which accepts something, and in my case, I'm going to accept parents. So what I actually did here is the following. There's a huge application built with JavaFX, or large application, and they told me that sometimes running or creating multiple fxmls can be slow, and they wanted to load them in background, which is a little bit tricky. And I just waited until Java 8, because with Java 8 you can very nicely solve the problem. And this is actually also nice to understand what's going on behind the scenes. So what is Lightbox? If you have any questions, just interrupt me. So this is a mix of JavaFX and Java 8. So what is a lights box? The lights box is a pane which is injected from the outside. So this is a pane which I just draw. This is actually which I draw with the scene builder. So lights box. So again, going here, there is a pane lights box, which is basically a flow pane with the layout. So this is lights box. So whatever I do, it will appear in the upper area. So this is the idea. And as you can see, I can now mix and match the contents, right? So I just designed the pane here, but I would like to use in source code to pre-fill the pane. So lights box, and lights box has a method get children, which returns I believe observable list, which is a list, and the method has the list has a method called add. And the add method here just expects something. And for Java 8, it is a perfect case of a consumer. This is almost like a duck typing. So what I did here, I'm passing the method add of a lights box as a consumer of parents. And what happens behind the scenes, the view is loaded asynchronously in case the AfterBurner is ready to pass the instance. It will just pass the instance to the lights box behind the scenes. The problem with this, of course, is the same problem like in Swing with Swing Worker. In order to doing so, what we have to do is, to do this in the event dispatching thread or the application thread. So if we spend some time here, you will see I have a parent creation pool, and the method execute gets another Lambda expression with getView, and in getView I'm using the method platform run later another method handle from JavaFX, and what it does is I'm using completable future and say, okay, supplier, first use the my thread and use the supplier, which is something which creates a view, and if you are ready, if everything is instantiated, then pass, please, the result to the consumer, which happens to be the light box, right? Any questions left? So the funny story is with Java 8, there are 3 lines of code, and I did some prototype with JDK 1.7, and there were, I don't know, 10 lines of code, and they even didn't work properly. But right now, it seems to work. So there was no complaints right now. I released this in, I don't know, 2 months ago. But I think this is a really nice example of power of JavaFX combined with Java 8. Okay, Simon, any questions?
So no questions. One question about the method reference, but I've handled that one. One which is one which should probably be left to the end. It's probably less relevant at the minute.
Okay, and everything is crystal clear to you as well?
Everything's always crystal clear to me.
Perfect. So okay, so and the parent creation is actually just a executor pool with new cache thread pool. I could make it configurable as well, but doesn't matter right now. And the more you configure that, this to make crazy it gets, it gets too complicated. But this was, I think, was a nice little hack. And of course, it's your decision. You can create the views synchronously or asynchronously. So I could say you can also invoke, get view, and it will just get, it will block, and it will get the parent back. And this is really nice because I don't have, to implement any callbacks. I just pass whatever I like, and it is created asynchronously, and the result passed automatically using the event dispatching thread to the right method. What's also interesting here is here. So what is this? I'm creating a view with a really strange parameter, which happens to be a strange lambda expression, and this lambda expression ranges from 0 to 255. So now you know why I used this strange number. And with another request, and I also need for Floyd. So the problem I had, usually the dependency injection is singleton based and global. But what I wanted to have is to pass, specific information to a view and make it injectable in a presenter. So if we go to the view, and you see here, so I'm passing a function of string and object. So what is a function? So a Java 8 interface. So what is really nice, Java 8, if you have Java 8, you don't have to create any custom interface. You can just use Java 8 interfaces. There are lots of them. And what it actually is, function, string and object, I can pass any hash map actually, or any method get, because it's exactly what the method get does. A key is resolved to an object. Again, function is apply, key to value, key value. Like hashmap get key value. This is actually the nice story. So and what I did in the method dashboard presenter. Wait a second, lost a little bit here. Lost in code. Yeah. So this implements the method. So any key in the light view is resolved to the value which ranges from 0 to 255. So this is actually what happens behind the scenes. And what it actually means is in the presenter, I can inject the value red, and this is why I get the different shades of red. You see here color RGB. This is also JavaFX method. So with AfterBurner it's very easy, and with Java 8, of course, to make what I called it a context-dependent injection. So I can pass hash map, whatever information I like, to a view, and make it injectable to a presenter. Usually, you will, I could just pass properties with everything. And in Java 7, it will be a mess because I would have to create a hash map. Pass the hash map is lots of work. But with Java 8, I think it's pretty elegant because I just say f is key, and this is the value. I don't care about it. It's just one per view, so I can do this. Okay, I think nice hack, very useful, works perfect for me. And yeah, I hope it's a nice idea. And of course, another request was we would like to make injectable everything from property files or whatever, and say, okay, so we get another convention. You can put to the folder with name dashboard, which comprises dashboard presenter, dashboard view, and dashboard XML or dashboard properties, and the dashboard properties is going to be loaded and injected as well. So what it actually means, you see here the end in the dashboard presenter, there is probably a string. Is a string the end? No. Here. I can just call the resource bundle, get string at the end. So what it actually means, this is a resource bundle, is going to be internationalized, get string at the end, and depending on the language, you get the resolved string. So this is also a request from our project. And configuration property, this is one configuration. You can put whatever you like here. Prefix, happy ending. If you go to the presenter, you will see prefix and happy ending. So file dashboard.properties or named after the presenter view is internationalized behind the scenes and passed as a resource bundle, and configuration property is just passed as a key value pairs, which happens to be a string and string pair. So if you just put a configuration properties to the folder and everything you like is going to be injectable, so all the contents are available as key here with @inject. It's also a request from a project, so they requested this. And just ask. You can just track, the requests in GitHub issues if you like. So Simon, questions? Now there's have to be some questions. Either we lost the audience, or everything is crystal clear, and so I just invented something which no one needs, So
we'll put a couple of questions.
Oh, perfect.
No real deep implementation questions yet, but there are still time. So if anyone has any of those, please ask them in IRC. One question: Is it a problem to create JavaFX components on other threads different to the JavaFX application thread?
If you create something visual, you get an error. This is like in swing case, and if you will attempt to do it, so what can happen? Like in swing case, the UI is going to be inconsistent. So something can happen and which is not predictable. And by the way, I think there is no UI framework out there which is multi-threaded. So this is everywhere, not only in Java. So all frameworks behave the same. So you shouldn't do this. What you can do, you can create, the controllers, whatever, and whatever threads you like. But if you are going to update the live application, you have to do it in the event dispatching thread, which is actually named differently in JavaFX, is like application thread or something. This EDT was the name of swing thread. So, but the thread which updates the UI.
Do you think that will change in the future, where people will just be able to spawn off new threads which can do that, or?
What I thought actually, how JavaFX operates is there is a pulse which updates the UI, and there is a thread which generates the events. So my basic thinking was, if they would refactor this, it could be always thread safe, because if they manage both, you can just sync the pulse with the UI, and then the problem would be solved. But I forgot the issue. This was a few years ago. I had some chat with the JavaFX engineers that told me it's really hard to implement. But from the architectural point of view, it could work, right? Okay. But right now, there is not even in other programming languages and other operating systems, you always have the same issue in Android, iOS, or whatever. Mm-hmm. But actually a good question, right? This is actually a deep implementation question.
And one question just about the code. There's a whole load of code here which looks awesome. Is that going to be available somewhere after the session?
It is already available. So what I did, I just cloned this, and this is the AfterBurner project. It's on GitHub. So if you go to my GitHub account, the project is called AfterBurner. So it's I will just open this, and somewhere there is AfterBurner. AfterBurner. And this is the code right now, which I show you. So it's exactly this. And the application Floyd is also open source. So whatever I showed you right now is already open source on GitHub.
Okay, awesome. So I'll link that back.
This is you have already everything.
Cool. One more question. Sorry, Amorphous, I totally forgot this question. Can you embed JavaFX on HTML pages? And is it still referred to as an applet?
You can absolutely do this. So actually, I did it in Lightfish, but I won't do it anymore, because it's actually the whole Java plugin is broken or security risky, and from political point of view, you won't get away with this. So, but from the technical perspective, absolutely you can do this. And what you can also do is something like Ajax on steroids. Actually, there was an old technology called Live Connect, where an applet got the whole DOM from the browser, so the W3C DOM elements. And what it actually means is you could have Ajax way before Ajax, because you could, with an applet, generate dynamically HTML elements. You can do the same with JavaFX, and if you're interested, look at LightView from the Lightfish project. What I did, I just I manipulated JSF application with this, and what is also possible in JavaFX is the inverse, which is even more interesting. JavaFX comes with a web view, which is based on WebKit. This is a component which is really easy to create, and you can load whatever page you like to the WebKit and control it from outside. So this is very interesting if you're building hybrid applications, like for instance iTunes, which is something like this. It's a native application with dynamic content inside, and or help system or something like this. So yeah, it's possible. And forget about applets, I would say. I wouldn't deliver applets anymore. I would just only deliver native applications. And if delivery or installation is a problem, if internet applications, I would just go with HTML5. Mm-hmm. So you cannot just distribute, JavaFX application to the internet. So I think the barrier to install is just way too high. But for an enterprise project, it's just great. So you can very, very easily and very productively implement applications. So this is the story. So I always ask, HTML5 and JavaFX, and this, I think the distinction is very clear. HTML5 is very easy to install. It's a little harder to build. JavaFX is Java, so you can use the unit test, whatever you know. You can just apply the same Maven build, whatever. The problem is installation. You need Java on the client.
Okay, cool. One question from Vesuv. How are the property files used? So let's say read values instead of the user inputting them.
They are not on the startup. They are loaded, but there is right now there's no mechanism to reload them. If this was the question, mm-hmm. And how they are used actually are very, very simple. The properties, they are loaded in the configurator. There's the class Y. I introduced a third class called the where's my AfterBurner? Wait a second, I have just to find my project. It's called AfterBurner. AfterBurnerFix. And this was the configurator. And the configurator, you see here, system get properties. So it just loads the properties first, the custom properties, configuration of properties, and you can ask for properties per class. And this is what happens in the injector. So per presenter, it passes the presenter and says, okay, I know the configuration for this presenter, and it uses a stream, loads the input stream, and load the properties here. So actually, no magic, with a very robust exception handling strategy.
Nice. This one from Dennis K. Any thoughts on JSR 365, which from memory is WebSockets, but I'm going to Google that just in case.
I think so.
Java API for WebSockets. Any
thoughts? Actually, it works great with JavaFX, and I use it already. So there is a project called Tyrus. There's a client-side WebSocket, and it fits perfectly with JavaFX because I show you why. Oh, it also forgot why it forgot about my Floyd. Floyd, here is it. Come here, Floyd. So the service. If you look at this, I interacted with the backend using the asynchronous calls, invocation callbacks, because the whole JavaFX code is asynchronous as well. So with WebSockets, it fits perfectly, because what you could do, the JavaFX service would send asynchronous messages to the server. The server would asynchronously respond to the JavaFX controller, and the controller will update the view. So it fits perfectly with JavaFX, and WebSockets, or like here's the case, JAX-RS2, are perfect. And I actually plan to enhance ping with WebSockets to in real time push the information, and then I will implement here WebSockets example as well. And the project, what you need on the client is called Tyrus. And this is the client-side implementation of the WebSockets, the reference implementation, and the Java client is also in the Maven repo. So with I think 2 dependencies, you get the whole WebSocket story on the client, and any Swing and any JavaFX application can directly interact with WebSockets, what you can also do, and I actually did it with Lightfish, you could start up HTML5 application and Java application. They could share the same messages, for instance.
Okay, really interesting. If you Google JSR 365, the first hit is JSR 356, which is WebSockets.
Oh, okay.
JSR 365 is actually CDI, which is the second Google hit. So, so yeah, let's talk about CDI.
Okay, I actually thought about CDI, and it would be no problem at all to use Weld for this. This is the reference implementation of CDI. And if you actually search for Weld swing example, you will find a working example with swing dependency injection. So let's see whether I will find this. And yeah, I think it is even the example. Application scope, game, looks like this. There was Ajax button, Ajax request. It looks like this. So at some point in time, if I will find JFrame, I'm in the right. Yes. So this is an example using Swing and Weld. The problem with this is Weld is a huge framework with lots of dependencies. And why I didn't use Weld is for one reason, scopes. I didn't find any example of scoping. So in my case, everything is a singleton, which is, I think, the default in client, because you don't have multi-users on one client, usually not. And you don't have threading and stuff like this, so everything is a singleton. So there is no reason to have scopes. And the only remaining thing, also qualifiers are less interesting for me, because my observation was this is really rare to have multiple implementation of the same interface on client. So qualifiers are less interesting. And what would be interesting are events, actually. So, but with JavaFX, I have the decoupling anyway. So events could be interesting. This would be one reason to use Weld. But I tried to be as simple, as lean as possible. Actually, I was really sad that I had to introduce the third class. Right now, the AfterBurner is, I don't know, 10K framework, which I really like, simple stuff. And Weld will make it harder. Actually, the first implementation, I used Juice, Google Juice. And the problem with Google Juice was I had to configure the modules by hand, which I didn't like. I wanted to have conventional configuration. So it's the only reason why I created the injector by myself. But it's really open source. So if the users of the framework will find some value for using Weld, just change one line and we have Weld. So there's actually not another problem. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we've got one follow-up question, I guess, from Struppy in RC. What is needed on the client to run JavaFX in the browser? So a follow-on question really from JavaFX on HTML pages. You
need the Java plugin and Java 8 usually. With Java 7 it would work, with Java plugin would just work. Yeah.
Okay. One question from Amorphous. So you can control DOM elements from JavaFX app. JavaFX scene is not a DOM element, so how can you show it?
How can I show it? I think if I find it, I can show it right away. So the questions are getting better and better, right? Mm-hmm. So the longer it takes, then after 5 hours we get the best questions ever. So there's the light view, and somewhere here, a few years ago, I implemented this. So hopefully I'm going to find this. Wait a second. This was a presentation, hopefully applications, no, dashboard. Dashboard view. View. Browser, nice, looks already. Okay, this looks right. Document, if I look at the document, it is, yes, it is the W3C document. So what it actually means, it is the DOM from the browser. And the method is invoked somewhere. This was prior Java 8, so why it looks so strange. And where I did it, so this is the interesting question. So the engine is, so this is actually the web view. So the web view is created here. So I have the browser, then I get the reference to the engine, and then some listeners are registered, and here post process. You see, if current double value is 10, so everything is loaded, I go to the engine and say get document, and what I actually get the HTML root tag. And now I am back to Ajax. I actually could use, whatever I like to manipulate the content. On what I did here is there's one element what I didn't like. This is with the element by ID light view, and I just say style display none, and it disappears from the HTML. This is an example from the Live Connect, and it was available forever for applets. And now JavaFX just makes it available as well. And this is an example from using the web view accessing the DOM, and you can do the same with applets, but I have no example right now. But it will look very similar. Let's. I think if you search for Live Connect applets, I'm curious whether. Very good. We have it.
Cool.
This is why I always wondered. No one actually used that, and this would be really, Ajax on steroids, because you could, with Java code and some, manipulation, you can fully manipulate the browser. So we made some experiments with one pixel applet. So we have pixel applet which manipulate the page. Okay, nice.
So I think it's probably about, we're quite over now, so I think it's probably about time we wrap up. One thing I do want to mention actually is an online a grouping of online sessions that you have, Adam, called AirHacks, right?
Yes.
Do you want to quickly give an overview of AirHacks and explain to people how they can, our users can join, register, and be a part of that as well?
Oh yeah, so there are actually two flavors of AirHacks. The what you are mentioning right now is the AirHacks IO. Mm-hmm. And what happens is the first Monday of month at 6 p.m. I just this question like this. It looks very much like this, but I'm the lonely speaker. And what happens is I'm usually there are some questions GIST created with on GISTs. Some gists, and if you go here, there are some questions, there are some conversation, and one from Noah White. This is actually, is this our Noah White? Is it our colleague? No, right?
I don't know, maybe.
No White?
I don't think so.
Okay, but there are questions like, what do you think about Play Framework and Network 5 in J2E, whatever, and I gather the questions and I answer them at once a month. And during the session, people can ask me whatever they like, and if I have a question, I'll answer this. If not, I just write down the question, and the next time I'm going to answer the question. Why I'm doing this? I get so many questions in my blog and Twitter. I'm not able to answer them, and also via email. And this is my way to deal with this, and it's getting more and more popular. Actually, right now we have almost 50 subscriptions, and usually about 100 people per event. So it's actually nice, and yeah, this is why I'm doing this, to save time, basically, and there's lots of fun. And the questions getting better and better, so this is what I really appreciate. And the real AirHacks event is just a workshop at Munich Airport. So this is, you have to come in person, and people from all over the world participating in the workshops, actually.
Awesome. So what I'll do, we're going to get friends of the VJug, where we're going to have other virtual sessions, which we'd like to promote. So I'd love to add this on our monthly newsletter that we're going to start pushing out. One final question, just before we go. Do you have any suggestions for creating responsive layouts or responsive design in JavaFX applications?
I thought about this, and I think it is not going to be that hard, because what happens in HTML5, if you are in HTML5 land, you have to provide some computation and say, okay, in case the pixel density is this, I'm just not displaying this and relayouting everything, and this should be very easy to doable with JavaFX. And I already thought about creating something like not AfterBurner or something similar, just for responsive layout, because for me it sounds easier than in HTML5. There's nothing out there, but what I mean is, for instance, if the width of the application hits a certain threshold, I could just easily, rearrange some menu or something like this. So this would work properly. The question is, do you expect such a thing in native applications? Because if you look, on Mac or Windows, usually this is what not happen in native applications. So like if you change, the layout, it's everything rearranges. But you could absolutely do it. And with the data binding in JavaFX, it would be really easy with Java 8 to implement this. And this question I get a lot, and I don't know whether it's the same person, but I got it 3 times the last 3 weeks. So I think I will just try it because this seems to be fun. I have no idea whether it is actually usable, because in enterprise environment you have to to work against a certain resolution because of the company, and this is what you have to do. But this is an interesting task actually.
Cool. A couple other questions just in at the last minute, so we'll finish off with those 2. As far as I saw, the JavaFX plugin in the browser is an applet itself. Is that right?
Is it applet itself?
Yeah.
Yes, it starts as an applet. It has to be an applet, right? This is and the whole applet plugin is called Java plugin, so it's always the same. There is one Java plugin in the browser, and it can load applets or JavaFX. Yes.
Okay, cool. And finally, the last question from Kuel J: is JavaFX the right tool for writing enterprise applications with lots of forms and tables?
Form and tables, yes, of course. Yeah, why not? I mean, it really depends on the table, but whatever you can do in HTML5, you can do in JavaFX as well. And in worst case, you can create your own table, so like you create in Angular. So actually, this would be the worst possible case. But of course, it's doable. The question is, from the strategic point of view, is it how JavaFX will behave comparing to HTML5? And long-term strategy is a little bit more interesting. But yeah, this is what we actually do for enterprise tables and forms. This is what most of the enterprise applications are doing, just boring tables and forms.
Cool. Okay, so that's pretty much all the questions. I'm gonna finish up by saying a huge thank you. It was a really great session. Thank you, Adam. Apologies for the blackout we had for a few minutes. Hope it didn't affect the users too much. It certainly gave me an awkward few minutes just trying to fill time on trying to work out how we get this back up and running. But thank you very much, Adam, for appearing. We'll absolutely accept the couple of books, and I'll put that on for another ballot raffle next week. If you wanted to contact Adam offline, you can grab him on Twitter at AdamBeam. I'll make sure that's in the IRC as well. So thank you very much, everyone, for coming on the VJug, and thank you again, Adam, for such a great, awesome presentation.
And thank you for watching. And sorry, I actually wanted to implement everything from scratch, but I find actually that this was the better way, just to show snippets of code. But I will probably hack something from scratch just for fun and post it on YouTube anyway. So sorry for the agile session.
No worries.
But,
if you link us up, I'll send that link around.
Okay. Thank you very much, Simon, and thank you for organizing the VJug. This is actually the awesomeness. Not the speaker, but the organization. This is actually what kudos to you.
Thank you very much. It's very kind of you to say. I'm just a framework. You guys are the awesome content.
Okay. Bye.
Thanks very much, guys. Cheers. Bye.